हाँ भाई, सब राजी खुशी भाई, क्या हाल चाल है तुम्हारे? Welcome back to my channel. That's what we call this is my channel. And right now we are programming Ramayan by Valmiki J English to Sanskrit translation right straight to you guys from the ancient times. So हम यहाँ पे बुक पढ़ने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं वाल्मीकि जी की रामायण, क्योंकि ये मेरे बचपन का सपना था। मैं हर वीडियो में बोलूँ क्या ये? नहीं, हर वीडियो में बोलूँ? देखते हैं जब तक बोल पाते हैं, क्योंकि बहुत लंबी चलने वाली है। ये तो खत्म ही नहीं होगी ना लाला। मुझे लग रहा है साल के एंड तक यही चलता रहेगा, बट लेट्स सी हाउ इट गोज बिकॉज आई एम फाइंडिंग इट फन, I'm finding it energetic, informative. Too much of emotions are involved in this one. While reading, not my emotions, but when I read it, it's contained too much of content, like Game of Thrones. So I kind of like that book. तुम्हें भाप नहीं दिख रही ना, बट सर्दी हो रही, थोड़ी भाप निकल रही है। I'm sorry for such behavior, but I'm not very used to going online live, so you will see this kind of behavior because I'm not too very serious of a person if I'm comfortable around. So because I'm at my home, so I'm definitely is super duper comfortable with myself. So I will not take much of your time. Let's start reading the book Ramayan. We have completed. I don't know how much we have completed. Let's see. I'll see. I'll forget, but I'll remember it once I see it. So let's open the book. Let me just share my screen. I hope you're all doing well. With I'm so sorry. I will be burping because I've just had this size this size of length. ये screen में आ नहीं रहा. This size of protein shake I have just drank. So it's too much and I will be burping, but that's fine. You will not be seeing my face all the time. You will be seeing the screen from which I'm reading. Uh, hmm. अगर मैं इस तरह से देख के पढूं तो भी नहीं, स्क्रीन से देख के पढ़ते हैं। तुम्हें मेरी शक्ल क्यों देखनी है? तुम कंटेंट देखो ना। कंटेंट इज मच इंपॉर्टेंट देन माय नेम, माय फेस. कंटेंट इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट. What you are seeing on your screen, that's more important. Who said it, how he said it, how he said it should matter, but who said it doesn't matter. So I have already shared my screen. Let's go to Brave. Brave is what I use as a browser because that's my favorite. Here's Ramayan. And so we have completed chapter 8. King Dasharatha proposes Vedic ritual for progeny. That's we learned. And now we are. नहीं, आई थिंक चैप्टर 8 भी हमने कंप्लीट कर लिया था कल से। मैं ये चीज ऐड नहीं करूंगा. लेट्स सी हमने लास्ट क्या पढ़ा था. ऑन हियरिंग मुझे याद आ जाएगा. ऑन हियरिंग those word of the king, the lustrous countenance of the queen have become more gleaming like a blooming lotus after the clearance of dew fall. This is what we have read. This is chapter 8. Now, legend of sage Rishi Rishyasringa. Let's open this up. This is chapter 9 of Balakanda. Sumantra, the minister of King Dasharatha, details the importance of sage Rishyasringa and beseeches the king to invite that sage to preside over the contemplated Vedic ritual. For that sage entry into the kingdom is auspicious for the land and people. Sumantra, the charioteer and one of the minister of King Dasharatha, having heard all about the king's desire to perform Vedic ritual, said this in confidence of king, O king, I will tell an early legend, an early legendary narration that I listen. ये भी भूल गया था क्या मैंने? एक मिनट guys, एक मिनट. Oh, I'm sorry guys. Chapter 9 we already did. Huh. Chapter 9 we have done. So we are going to read chapter 10. Rishyasringa enticed and brought from the woods. Chapter 10. Today is chapter 10, guys. I'm so sorry. Sumantra, the minister, continues his narration to King Dasharatha about Rishyasringa's arrival at Anga kingdom of King Romapada and his marriage with Princess Shanta, the daughter of Romapada. Sumantra, thus motivated by King Dasharatha, said these words to King: O king, how and with which idea sage Rishyasringa is brought by the ministers of Romapada, all that will be spoken. That may please be listened from me along with ministers. The minister, along with clergymen, have spoken this way to King Romapada. This is a non harmful plan, well thought over by us. Rishyasringa is a forest dweller, absorbed in asceticism and self study of Vedic scriptures, and he is not aware of women, or of worldly matters, or even worldly pleasures. With much desired sense pleasing object that will be disquieting the minds of men, we wish bring him to the city. Let it be decided quickly. Beautiful and well decorated courtesan will go there to bring him hither by tempting with many feint, and let the courtesan be given ample gifts. Hearing that, the king replied the priest, let it be so. And then the priest and the minister have carried out the plan that way. On hearing the order of the king, those best courtesan have entered that great forest, and then they camped not very far from the hermitage, making all the trials for showing themselves off to a glance of that sage. Any dictionary word given the meaning of courtesan as whore or as a court mistress, but in Indian context, the courtesan is not to be taken in such a lowly way as just a prostitute or a whore. They belong to a caste class of artists juxtaposed to the four caste system. There was there was a Devadasi temple dancer system, which is the artist class. On their receiving enough an education and skills in the performing arts, and as per their capabilities, they will be nominated at court dancer or temple dancer and the like. The ancient recognized 64 art, which include right from music, dance, and dharma, sculptures, painting, etc., up to the art of thievery. Kings in political or sovereign pursuit widely use these devdasi, the courtesan. Always satisfy is sage Rishyasringa to be in hermitage. Thus he never stirred out of that hermitage, and thus he has not seen any female or male or even any other object of pleasure, either of the city or of countryside, from the time of birth onwards. Rishyasringa is thus not aware of gender differentiation or exposed to any other object of pleasure. Thus, his father conditioned him to achieve some supreme ritual ideals. Then, at one time, Rishyasringa casually arrived at that place and has seen those comely, comely females. They are the lustful women, are amazingly attired and singing melodious tune. All of them neared the sage son and spoke these words. Who are you? Why you move lonely in these deep and desolate forests? Why you conduct yourself like this? O Brahman, we are interested to know. Please tell us. These women are in most desirable form, and hitherto he has not seen such form in that forest. Hence, a kind of friendship spouted, with which he is inclined to detail about his father. My father is sage Vibhandaka, and I am his true descent son. I am known as Rishyasringa, by my name and by an event on my birth, and thus renowned on earth. The birth the birth event associated with his name is that he is born with a horn on the crown of his head. Thus he is named as Rishyasringa, a sage with a horn, and this here is called his birth time event. Our hermitage is here only. O august ones, I wish to perform spiritually worship to you all verily there. Thus said the sage to the courtesan. On hearing the words of sage son, all the courtesan are very inclined to see the threshold of that hermitage. Then all the women went to hermitage. On going there, on going there, then the sage son performed worship, saying, "Here is our hand washed, here is our feet washed, here are tuber fruits, here are the juicy fruit of ours." This portrayed the exclusion of Said's son from the rest of the world by his father. He worshipped the courtesan as he would worship some supernatural deities by saying the above words, which will usually be used in ritual worship of Hindu deities. His being he being a fruitarian as has offered the courtesan the tuber fruits like sweet potato, etc., which are ridiculous to urbanites, that too to the pleasure taking courtesan. All of them have received that kind of worship much enthusiastically, but dread at the arrival of wage Vibhandaka, they quickly made up their mind to make away from there. Take these important fruit of ours, O Brahman. You be safe, O Holy One. Eat them before long, said Kotsan to the Rishyasringa. Then all the courtesan have embraced him, and all of them with kind wistfulness in the offing presented sweet balls and other varieties of best sweetmeats to him. Having relished the sweets, that resplendent sage supposed them to be fruits only, for he did not taste sweeter sweets earlier, as he is always forest bound. Taking leave of sage Rishyasringa on pretense that they also have to perform devotional duties, they, the courtesan, departed from there on the pretext of their daily worship, while they actually feared of arrival of Rishyasringa father, who may hurl curse on his arrival. After the departure of all of them, the courtesan that Brahma Rishyasringa, the grandson of sage Kashyapa, is disturbed at heart and even behaved sadly. Then on the next day, Rishyasringa, son of Vibhandaka, and the prosperous sage with aesthetic power had arrived at that place where he saw well decorated and delightful courtesan, recollecting in mind repetitively about them alone. Then, on seeing the arrival of that Brahman, the courtesan felt happy at heart, and all of those courtesan on surrounding him said, "O gentle one, welcome to the threshold of our hermitage." There are excellent tuber fruits and fruits, and there will be very distinctive hospitality. Definitely indeed. So said the courtesan. On hearing the heart-pleasing word of all those courtesan, Risharinga made up his mind to go over there, and those women took him away to their palace of Anga kingdom. While the great soul Brahman Risharinga, while being brought into Anga kingdom, then the rain god quickly showered rain in Anga kingdom to delight of the world. The king Romapada personally proceeded toward that Brahman Risharinga who is now entering Anga kingdom alone with rains made prostrarian, mo- pros, prostration, prostration before him, offered water customarily with dedication, and then the king Romapada besought benefices of the best sage Risharinga to save him and his kingdom from the fury of father sage Vibhandaka. If sage Vibhandaka were to know about his pursuit of bringing Risharinga to Anga kingdom at a later time, on entering the palace, Princess Shanta is given to Risharinga in a customary marriage. And then the king Romapada obtained rejoiced with a peaceful mind. Thus, that great Fulgent Risharinga lived in Anga kingdom along with his wife Shanta and with all his desire fulfilled and also well worshipped. Thus, Sumantra said the legend of Risharinga to King Dasharatha. This is the end of chapter 10. Chapter 11. Dasharatha bring Risharinga to Ayodhya. On the advice of his minister Sumantra, Dasharatha proceed to Anga kingdom to fetch sage Risharinga and his wife Shanta to his capital Ayodhya. Minister Sumantra continued, O the great king, I will further narrate all that has been said by Sanat Kumar, the best one among all deities. Kindly listen to these favorable words. Sage Sanat Kumar belonged to a belonged to the bygone era of Ishwaku dynasty. Please refer to the account regarding the era of ancient India at endnote. A king named Dasharatha will be born into Ishwaku dynasty who will be very virtuous, resplendent and truthful one to his vow, said Sanat Kumara the sage. King Dasharatha will befriend the king of Anga, and the king of Anga will beget a fortunate girl named Shanta. Shanta is said to be the daughter of Dasharatha and given to Romapada in adoption, and Rishiringa marries her alone. This is what Sumatra says to Dasharatha. The son of the son of the king of Anga, earlier king of Anga kingdom, will be known as Romapada and also known as Chitratha. And the highly renowned king Dasharatha approached Romapada. Then the king Dasharatha says to king of Anga, O righteous one, I am childless, and hence I intend to perform a Vedic ritual. Let the husband of your daughter Shanta, sage Risharinga, preside over the Vedic ritual at you behest for the sake of progeny in my dynasty. On hearing those words of King Dasharatha, the benevolent, the benevolent soul Romapada, the king of Anga, considers heartily and agrees to send the one who endows progeny by a ritual, namely sage Risharanga and Risharanga his son-in-law. On receiving that Brahman sage Risharanga at the behest of his father-in-law, that King Dashratha get rid of his febrile condition and will accomplish that Vedic ritual feeling very fallacious in the depth of his heart. That king, the desirer of performing Vedic ritual, the knower of virtue and the lord of people, namely Dasharatha, will be requesting that best Brahman Rishyasringa with his palm adjoined in a supplication for the conduct of ritual for progeny and even of his heavenly adobe. And the king of all quarters of earth will accomplish those desire from that eminent Brahman Rishyasringa. There will be four sons to King Dasharatha that about with valor and rich dynasty reputation, and they will be renowned among all beings. Thus sage Sanat Kumara to other sages. Sun and paradise are intimately connected in Indian belief. A man desire a man desires above everything to have a son to perpetuate his race and to assist with sacrifice and funeral rites to make him worthy to obtain a lofty seat in heaven and to preserve that which he has already obtained. This way, he, that ancient and godly sage Sanat Kumara, who is also Brahma's brainchild like Narada, set this legend in earlier divine era called Kriti Yuga. Then Sumantra continued his narration to Dasharatha. O great king, the tigerly man, he that sage Risharinga be led here on your proceeding in person will staff and transport, and on adoring him well personally. Thus Sumantra concluded his narration. On hearing the word of advice from charioteer Dasharatha became gladsome and made Sumantra to reiterate to that sage also for his approval. Then Dasharatha traveled to the palace with that Brahman Risharinga, where the Brahman Risharinga is, along with the inmates of palace chambers and ministers too. While the chief priest Vasishtha is officiator of all rituals, no king can invite another priest to perform something without the consent of the officiating priest. Hence, the consent of Vasishtha is obtained after asking Sumantra to reiterate what all was said to sage Vasishtha too. On crossing over the rivers and forests slowly and steadily, Dasharatha entered that kingdom where the eminent Brahman is there. Then Dasharatha saw the best Brahman who is nearby King Romapada and who is resplendent like ritual fire. Then King Romapada, gladdened at heart of hearts, paid excellent respect to King Dasharatha procedurally and in view of their friendship. Then Romapada informed the wise sage Risharinga about the friendship and the relation with Dasharatha, and then that sage worshipped King Dasharatha in his return. Thus, well received by King Romapada, King Dasharatha spent 7 to 8 days with him and then spoke this to King Romapada. O Lord of subject, your daughter Princess Shanta may go over my city Ayodhya along with her husband Risharinga. As so, King, I am contemplating to perform a great Vedic ritual indeed. So said Dasharatha to Romapada. So it shall be, said King Romapada, agreeing to their travel with King Dasharatha and addressed these words to that Brahman sage and his son-in-law sage Risharinga. You may proceed along with your wife. Then Rishiringa agreed and replied to the king Romapada, "So it will be done." And then, having them permitted by the king, he set forth along his wife. Those valiant kings greeted each other with thanksgiving palm fold, and in friendship they embraced each other and gladdened. Then King Dasharatha, who set forth to Ayodhya, bade farewell to his friend King Romapada, and his firstly sent quick-footed messenger to Ayodhya to inform his citizen about his arrival, along with sage Rishiringa. Let the entire city of Ayodhya be well decorated very quickly. Let her street be sprinkled with water and then swept. Let the flag be welcome. Let the flag of welcome be hoisted. Thus King Dasharatha ordered messenger that are sent beforehand. Then, on hearing the arrival of their king, all the citizens felt very happy and readily performed all those work exactly as ordered by the king. Then King Dasharatha, keeping Risharinga before him, entered the well-decorated city Ayodhya amidst the full sounding of conch shell and drum beats. Then all the citizens are very happy on seeing that Brahman sage Risharinga, who is well honored and being entered into the city of their king Dasharatha, as has been done once by Indra when he entered sage Kashyap's son Vamana, the dwarfish boy, and then incarnated of Vishnu into heaven. And thus those citizens felt that their human lord Dasharatha vies with the divine lord Indra. The smile of Indra to King Dasharatha is in two ways. Dasharatha ruled kingdom like Indra, who rules heavens. The word Indra Karmana also referred to the deeds of Dasharatha in helping the gods, forcing forces combating the demonic force. Thus, the deeds performed by Dasharatha are like those of Indra. Here, Dasharatha is bringing sage Risharinga to Ayodhya. Earlier, Indra led Vamana, the dwarf boy, to heavens. Vamana is the incarnation of Vishnu in earlier ages, and after Vamana suppressed Bali, the emperor of netherworlds, Indra took Vamana to heavens. Thus, Dasharatha is like Indra on earth, both by his virtue and deed. Incidentally, Vamana, that is Vishnu, is the son incarnate of sage to sage Kashyapa, while sage Risharinga is the grandson of the same Kashyapa. Thus, sage Kashyapa is instrumental to these two incarnations. Through the divine grace of sage Risharinga, the same Vishnu is going to take birth as Rama, while sage Kashyapa is a grandparent of Rama in this era. And while he alone was Vishnu father when Vishnu incarnated as dwarf boy Vamana. Dasharatha entered the sage into the palace chambers and worship him there as ordained in the scriptures. And in bringing the sage here into his country, King Dasharatha believed that his desire is fulfilled. On seeing her, the broad-eyed Shanta, who came there along with her husband, all the ladies of palace derived happiness for the homecoming of their own daughter as it were. Shanta thus being admired by all of them Shanta thus being admired by all of them and in an exceptional manner of Dasharatha comfortably reside there along with her husband, the Vedic scholar Risharinga. The Rivik is not just a recite of Vedas but more a director or conductor of whole orchestrion of the Vedic ritual, which involve lots of rule in reciting hymns and performing deeds, and all in their exactness. The whole lot of work that needs be performed have the order of precedence, like prime, auxiliary, adjective in their ordinance. The Ritwik is the illustrated scholar who keep track of these activities, while other scholars recite him as directed by these Ritwik. Hence, Ritwik hood is the highest. The four era system of Hindus. The four era system Chaturyuga has following components: Satyuga or Kriti Yuga, 17 lakh 28,000 years of duration. This is the era of Rama, ancestor of Ishwaku dynasty or the solar dynasty. Treta Yuga, 12 lakh 96,000 years, the era of Rama, near ancestor again of solar dynasty. 3. Dwapar Yuga, 8 lakh 64,000 years. This is the period of epic Mahabharata, which an admixture of solar and lunar dynasty. Kali Yuga, 4 lakh 32,000 years, the present period obtaining from the reunition of Mahabharata civilization. One cycle of the above four era is called one Mahayuga, and 71 of such fourfold era Mahayugas will become one Manvantar. Manu epoch, the time scale attributed to one Manu, the supreme ruler of mankind. There are total 14 such Manu epoch, and six of them over in the present Manvanta, the time scale. The complete Manu cycle are Swambhu Manu, Sarvochisa Manu, Atumani Manu. Oh, there are too many names. Such 14 Manu cycle will be said to be a day of Brahma, an absolute, the absolute. Ramayana is said to have happened in Treta Yuga, the second Manu time cycle. Earlier one in Satya Yuga, in which ancestor of Ram, descendant of Raghu dynasty like Sagara, Harishchandra, were the ruler, which is called Ishwaku dynasty. Thus is the 11th chapter. So we have completed 11th chapter, like 9 and 10 and 11 today. So we will continue the next chapters maybe tomorrow. We are reading just 2 chapters in a day. ठीक है, ज्यादा नहीं पढ़ रहे, बिकॉज इसलिए नहीं पढ़ रहे कि मेरा गला खराब है, ये वजह नहीं है. ये वजह इसलिए है कि ज्यादा लोड नहीं पड़ेगा ना. यू कैन रीड 2 chapters इन अ डे. तो मैं अगर जिम भी जाता हूँ और ऑफिस भी जाता हूँ, कहीं भी जाता हूँ, आई कैन स्टिल रीड 2 chapters. 2 chapters are not that long that you can think. एज अ होल तो ये बहुत ज्यादा हो जाएगा. मैं वीकेंड पे पढ़ सकता हूँ, बट दैट वुड बी टू मच ऑफ अ टाइम टेकिंग. मैं अपने हिसाब से तो पढ़ लूँ ऐसे फोन रख के और पढ़ता जाऊँ, बट स्टिल आई नीड टू बी वेरी डिसाइसिव, है ना. I need to be very concentrated. Maybe on week offs I'll try. Maybe on Saturday or Sunday I'll see if I can read much out of it in one go. But still I can't read it. क्योंकि हाँ ऐसे ही ठीक रहेगा. Like we will do 2 chapters. ठीक है, we will not do 3 or 4 chapters. It will take might some time, and we are not in a hurry. So we will continue reading the book Ramayan by Valmiki, and we are reading Bala Kanda, chapter 11. We have completed today. Sorry, guys. So much of khasi I'm having. So I'll see you soon later, maybe I'll catch you along with what is left, and there is too much left. अभी तो हमने start ही करा है. But today we got an important thing to know कि रामायण में हमें अब तक पता था कि they are four brothers, but आज भी हमें पता चला कि उनकी एक बहन भी थी शांता, जो उनके पैदा होने से पहले किंग दशरथ ने उनके फ्रेंड रोमापदा को उन्होंने अडॉप्ट कर ली थी रोमापदा ने. तो वो उनकी बेटी थी दशरथ की. ये हमें नहीं पता था, ये हमें अब पता चला जब हमने ओरिजिनल रामायण पढ़ी. तो थैंक यू वेरी मच वाल्मीकि जी, एंड थैंक यू वेरी मच टू माई सेल्फ हु हैज, and not myself but to the god who have inspired me to do, or who have given this thought from my childhood that it's become my childhood dream to read this book in its fullest. So we will read this book to its because I want to know the originals. OGs are the new trend, guys. So we'll see you again later, maybe. So तब तक के लिए हर हर महादेव, राम राम सबको. राजी खुशी रहो, प्यार से रहो, घर वालों का ध्यान रखो, ढंग से खाना खाओ.